My name is Leonardo Fernandez. I'm from Colombia, and part of Wayu community. My language is Wayunaiki.
Hello, je suis Nixon Mokoko. La langue que j'ai choisi de revitaliser est celle qui a été parlée par mes parents, mes ancêtres, et c'est la langue Kikongo. C'est tout.
Hello, my name is Lucy Iwala, and from the Igbo community, and the language I advocate for is Igbo language, which is spoken in the eastern part of Nigeria.
Bonjour, je suis Aristide Kwame de Côte d'Ivoire. La langue sur laquelle nous travaillons, c'est le baoulé.
Franca and Amrit. I don't see my Zoom participants. My Zoom panelists, I don't see them. Okay, Amrit, could you please introduce yourself and let us know the language you're documenting? Franca, Amrit? Amrit, can you please unmute yourself? Okay, so while we're getting that sorted, as you can see, we have a cross-section of panelists from different parts of the world, Africa, Asia, and Latin America. So it simply means you're going to be hearing different languages today, from English to Spanish to French. So please, there's going to be a code where you can scan to get interpretation. And also, Leonard did us well. He has an English interpreter who is going to support us in the panel. Okay, so while we are trying to get our Zoom participants up, we'll start with our live participants here. So I'm going to start with Lucy. What inspired your language revitalization work?
Thank you very much, Tochi. My language, I call it language activism and revitalization projects and interests. Started towards my penultimate year in the university as a language student, not Igbo. I studied English. So I was trying to write, carry out an assignment, and I came across this publication by the UNESCO that by 2050, some indigenous languages will be going into extinction. And Igbo language, which is my native language, was part of the language that was indicated that will be going into extinction. So this means that my language going into extinction is not just about the language, it's about my identity, it's about my people. So if this language goes into extinction, how do I identify, how do I connect, how do I interact with my fellow community member, my fellow Igbo-speaking community member outside the shores of Igbo-speaking community outside the shores of Nigeria. And just like here, I can communicate with Tochi because Tochi is from Igbo. So just assume that Tochi is, like the language has gone into extinction. How do I interact with her? So this is what kind of prompted me to go into the language revitalization project. And since that, I've been fully and actively contributing and participating in language revitalization projects.
Thank you very much. So you can see that language is not just a means of communication, it also shows your identity, where you're coming from. Okay, we are going to Côte d'Ivoire right now. Aristide, qu'est-ce qui a inspiré votre travail de revitalisation linguistique?
Alors, merci Toshi. Alors, je pourrais dire que c'est le fait de pouvoir, grâce à ce travail, valoriser la langue baoulé en amenant les jeunes Wikimediens natifs de cette langue à s'intéresser davantage à cette langue-là pour la pratiquer et aussi pour la comprendre. Voilà, quand nous avons remarqué que de nos jours, les jeunes, les plus jeunes ne pratiquent plus nos langues maternelles, alors que nous savons que ce sont eux qui sont censés vraiment la perpétrer en la transmettant à leur tour à leurs enfants, c'est-à-dire aux générations futures. Mais si aujourd'hui nous constatons que ces jeunes qui doivent la perpétrer après ne pratiquent pas cette langue-là, nous voyons que ces langues-là sont réellement menacées de disparition future. Et donc, nous nous disons qu'en travaillant vraiment à la revitalisation de la langue baoulé, ça va donner vraiment cette envie-là et cet enthousiasme aux plus jeunes de vouloir apprendre leur langue, de s'intéresser davantage à leur langue pour la pérennisation de nos langues.
Merci beaucoup. From Aristide, he's trying to preserve the Baole language. And for him, he's trying to preserve it for the future generation. Okay, going to the Caribbean. Lenadi, what inspired your language revitalization work?
Bueno, en el caso de la comunidad Wayuu, lo que me inspiró a poder comenzar a revitalizar el idioma es que es parte de la identidad.
For the starting point, we think that in the Wayuu community, revitalization is necessary because we want to preserve our language.
Es parte del territorio y es parte también del pensamiento y de la cosmovisión de la comunidad.
It's part of the cosmology and cosmogony of our community, it's part of our identity.
Y también porque nosotros somos de un sistema de parentesco matrilineal en donde heredamos el idioma directamente de la madre.
Well, and our heritage depends upon a woman and some relationship with women in our community.
Entonces perder el idioma es perder contacto y comunicación con nuestras abuelas y nuestras madres, por eso.
Lost communication between each others represents lost the connection with our mothers, with our languages.
Thank you. So you see, for the Wayuu community, they do not want to lose their identity. So the reason why they are documenting their language. Okay, Nixon, qu'est-ce que vous inspirez? Qu'est-ce que vous inspirez?
Parlez bien français. Ah, ok. Lorsque j'ai découvert Wikiton, j'ai été particulièrement interpellé par le fait qu'il était possible de revitaliser une langue, même si ce n'est pas votre propre langue maternelle, mais celle parlée aussi par vos parents ou vos ascendants. Et cela a très vite capté mon attention et j'ai trouvé cette approche si intéressante qu'il fallait l'essayer. La langue que j'ai choisi de revitaliser et celle qui a été parlée par mes parents, mes ancêtres et tout. Et elle est d'ailleurs la première langue nationale à l'époque coloniale et un tout petit peu post-coloniale dans mon pays à avoir été utilisée dans l'administration, tout juste après les Français, qui reste jusque-là la langue officielle du pays. Cette langue a été parlée avant le règne du président Mobutu, qui était président du Zaïre de l'époque. Cette langue a été parlée dans la capitale, a été majoritairement parlée dans la capitale. Pourtant, aujourd'hui, elle reste extrêmement invisibilisée et faiblement numérisée, très peu présente sur Internet et notamment sur Wikipédia. Alors, j'ai pensé qu'il fallait un peu essayer de revitaliser cette langue, de dynamiser une communauté autour de cette langue. Et je pense que c'était ça le but ultime.
Merci. Quelle langue? Quelle est la langue?
La langue Kikongo, la langue Kikongo du Congo, Kinshasa.
Merci. Okay. Nixon is revitalizing the Kikongo language, and for them, after colonization, the language became invisible. So now he's using Wikipedia and other Wikimedia projects to revitalize this language. All right, Amrit, are you there? Yeah, thank you. Can you just tell us briefly the language you're revitalizing, your name, and why you're revitalizing your language? Just briefly. Oh, there's no volume. I'm sorry, but can you wait? There's no volume, please. We can't hear the Zoom people. Can you try again? Let's see. You can hear? Volume, please. I can't. Oh, shit. You're wasting my time. Okay, can you try again? Okay. No, she's not muted, unfortunately. I think I could just continue. Okay, I'll just continue while we sort out the Zoom challenge. All right, Nixon, brièvement. Aristide, I'm sorry. Okay, briefly, pouvez-vous partager un défi majeur et une réussite majeure de votre bosses Wikitongues? So I'm just, like I mentioned, for those of us who joined late, this panel is a combination of participants or fellows from the Wikitongues Language Fellowship Program, which started in collaboration with the Language Diversity Hub in 2022. So these are both past and present members, as well as user group members of the Wikitongues community. Okay, and I'm asking them to share one major challenge or one major success from their fellowship program? Okay.
Alors, concernant la vulgarisation de la langue baoulé via Wikitongue Incubateur, le défi majeur que nous rencontrons, c'est la maîtrise parfaite de Wikimedia Incubateur. Voilà, il faut dire qu'avant le démarrage de ce projet, mon équipe et moi, on ne maîtrisait pas bien le projet Wikimedia Incubateur. Voilà, on ne savait pas comment utiliser Incubateur pour pouvoir vraiment revitaliser la langue. Et jusque-là, c'est vrai que nous avons les bases, nous arrivons à traduire les articles Wikipédia en baoulé, créer de nouveaux articles en baoulé, mais il reste encore à faire. Voilà. Et donc, c'est ce défi-là que nous tentons de relever au quotidien afin de pouvoir vraiment maîtriser complètement Incubateur pour mieux l'exploiter. Je remercie déjà l'équipe de Wikitongue, voilà, qui a mis à notre disposition un membre du comité linguistique de la Fondation Wikimedia, qui est là, M. Maïton, qui nous aide vraiment à maîtriser Incubateur pour mieux implémenter la langue baoulé. Et parlant de réussite, depuis que nous avons commencé, je tiens à préciser que nous avons démarré officiellement ce projet en mars, mais bien avant mars, nous travaillons sur la langue baoulé, sur Wikimedia Incubateur, depuis décembre. Et grâce au travail que nous faisons en équipe, que nous menons en équipe, nous avons réussi à intéresser un responsable de l'Institut Goethe d'Abidjan. Voilà, il a vu que nous travaillons sur la langue baoulé, il a vu nos publications sur Internet et il nous a contactés pour nous dire qu'il était intéressé, voilà, pour à participer au projet afin de revitaliser la langue baoulé. Ça, c'est l'une de nos réussites majeures. Et tout récemment, on a eu les rencontres annuelles des Wikimédiens ivoiriens dans une ville de l'intérieur du pays, en Côte d'Ivoire. Et là-bas, nous avons eu à faire une présentation sur ce projet. Et après la présentation, il y a des jeunes étudiants de cette ville-là qui nous ont contactés et qui sont natifs baoulés, qui souhaiteraient intégrer l'équipe pour continuer l'aventure avec nous. Donc, ce sont nos, nos réalisations majeures qui sont là. Merci.
Merci bien. OK. Nixon, et toi, pouvez-vous partager un défi majeur et une réussite majeure de votre grossesse?
Depuis le début de notre travail sur Wikipédia du Congo, nous avons observé une progression en termes d'articles créés, mais certes modeste, mais significative au regard du faible nombre de locuteurs actifs. Je pourrais dire que cette langue est aujourd'hui peu utilisée et la grande difficulté, c'est que il y a l'absence de vulgarisation de sa structure grammaticale et aussi elle a été affaiblie par la coexistence de ces nombreuses variantes, ce qui nous limite un tout petit peu. Mais dans l'ensemble, il y a une progression et d'ailleurs, nous avons pu démarrer un Wiktionnaire depuis l'incubateur du projet Wikimedia en Kikongo. Et nous avons eu à envisager également une collaboration, pour renforcer une collaboration avec les Wikimédiens du Congo-Brazzaville pour développer davantage de contenu en Kikongo et en espérant toucher les locuteurs d'Angola, puisque ensemble nous partageons tous cette langue commune. Et nous arrivons déjà à mobiliser une communauté. D'ailleurs, aujourd'hui, il y a Matadi, qui est le chef-lieu de la province du Congo central, qui a été touché par les activités wikimédiennes. Et aujourd'hui, elle a déjà eu à organiser plusieurs activités, elle continue d'en organiser. Et c'est vraiment une grande réussite puisque cette ville n'avait pas connu des activités wikimédiennes. Et aujourd'hui, elle est visible dans le mouvement et elle continue à mobiliser les membres de la communauté autour de cette langue Kikongo et de pouvoir contribuer sur Wikipédia en Kikongo. Merci.
Merci. Like I mentioned earlier, you can scan the barcodes on the table to be able to get interpretation. All right. Lucy, what has been your major challenge or maybe your major success while revitalizing your language?
Okay, in terms of challenges, because I studied English and I'm now advocating for Igbo language, and I usually carry out some of the projects in partnership with tertiary institutions, specifically language departments. So we have this challenge of the, say, the lecturers, the professors who majored in Igbo language. They now see you who studied English coming into the field and be like, what are you doing here? This is not your field. This is not your area of specialty. But they forget that even though I may not have that, let's say, a degree in Igbo language, we can also create a synergy. We can have a connection where we'll be able to exchange and help in documenting our language. So these are some of the challenges I face. And also, you find our students studying the Igbo language in the university. Some of them are not that fully proud to say that this is the language I'm studying. They would rather identify that I'm studying more other, let me not mention any language, more other foreign languages. So, and to me, my major success in this aspect has been to I've been able to create this awareness, change the wrong perception where they believe that because they are studying Igbo language is of no use and is of no great importance. I've been able to imbibe, boost their morale where they now believe that their language is also important and their language is not a sub-language to maybe say English language or thereabout. And because of this, whenever we have a call, whenever we have our meetings or say a translator-ton or an editor-ton that has to do with translating or engaging in language projects, you find out that they are now okay, they are now eager, they are now happy to participate. And it has been, I see it as a kind of a major success to me because I've been able to, even though not 100%, change their mindset from that perspective of the Igbo language they are studying in the school is not that important. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Lenadi, coming to you, what has been your major challenge and your success while revitalizing the Wayu language? Please, briefly.
Bueno, el principal reto que hemos tenido en el caso de la comunidad Wayuu tiene que ver con el proceso de escritura y el proceso de también movilizar a la comunidad para el tema de la conectividad.
The first aspect I can talk about is the mobilizing our community, and the writing process is very difficult between us.
Esto porque la mayoría de las lenguas en nuestra región son orales, entonces en ese caso muchos de los textos o escritos que están ya desarrollados por academias están resguardadas.
So we don't use writing, we speak with others in our language, so it is not easy to write down an oral culture, so this is a challenge.
resguardada en bibliotecas o en espacios académicos y muchas veces esto no se socializa con la comunidad, que en este caso debería ser la principal beneficiada de este contenido y de este desarrollo.
If we say at libraries all our content, it really does not matter to everyone because we need to get out of the libraries for sharing the information and share the culture with others.
Y lo mismo con la conectividad también. Tenemos el desafío de la conectividad. Muchas veces queremos hacer cosas, pero el tema de el internet, el tema de los recursos para movilizar a personas es bastante complicado.
Yeah, the other insight is the connection, the connectivity gap, because we don't have the possibility at the Wayu structure we live in at the desert, and it is difficult to connect each other digitally because we don't have connections.
Okay, thank you. So, you have heard all of the challenges he mentioned, and you will be proud to know that Wikimedia projects are like the best places we can all go to start our language documentation processes. They are the easiest places, they are the cheapest places to start from while documenting and trying to save our knowledge, our language, while also being able to share knowledge in various languages and as many languages as possible. Now, I would like to know which digital tool or Wikimedia projects have been most helpful to your community. Lucy, I'll start with you.
Thank you very much, Tochi. Talking about the Wikimedia project that has been so helpful, talk about the Igbo Wikipedia, which has the content translation tool. So it has really been of great help in our community because it's kind of seamless that it helps you translate from English to Igbo before you now go through to review and publish. So it has really been of great help to me and my community.
Thank you. Nixon, quel outil ou bien projet Wikimedia vous est le plus utile?
C'est beaucoup plus en fait les outils de traduction qui ont joué un rôle central dans notre démarche et aussi pour pouvoir démarrer le Wiktionnaire depuis l'incubateur. Nous sommes beaucoup servis des Translate Wiki pour traduire le message important, mais ce sont beaucoup les outils de traduction, comme je le disais tout à l'heure. L'absence de vulgarisation, de la structure grammaticale de la langue, tout ça, cela ne nous a pas permis d'avoir en fait beaucoup de moyens pour pouvoir les documenter sans outils de traduction et cela a été plus facile en partant des Translate Wiki et puis de pouvoir l'utiliser directement via les outils de traduction de Wikimedia. Ça a été beaucoup plus facile en aidant la communauté et en l'impliquant aussi dans ses travaux.
Merci. Aristide? Yeah, quel outil?
Alors, nous, les outils que nous utilisons pour travailler, il y a d'abord l'encyclopédie Wikipédia, voilà, où nous allons puiser les articles que nous devons traduire. Et pour faire ces traductions-là, nous utilisons des outils comme Google Translate qui nous permet de traduire ces articles-là en baoulé. Et nous, en retour, puisque nous comprenons et que nous savons comment lire les mots en baoulé, on apporte les corrections qu'il faut avant de les mettre sur incubateur. Et donc, Wikipédia, Google Translate et Wikimedia Incubateur.
Merci. Leonardo, which Wikimedia projects have been most helpful to your community?
En este caso usamos la Wikimedia Incubadora también, después la Wikipedia en Wayunaiki, que es la versión al Wayunaiki de la Wikipedia, y Wikimedia Commons como el repositorio multimedia.
That's great.
Okay, we use the incubator, Wikipedia Incubator, Wikipedia, it's the name in Wayunaiki for Wikipedia, Wikimedia Commons too.
Thank you. So you've heard the different Wikimedia projects they use in their language documentation. So if you're interested in language documentation, you can start from the incubator if your language does not already have a Wikipedia or Wiktionary. All right, so what does sustainability look like for your community? Lenadi? Just briefly, we have very little time.
Sí, bueno, en el caso de la sostenibilidad, lo que hemos hecho es manejar una narrativa que pueda entender la comunidad, es decir, pensamos que estos proyectos deben beneficiar principalmente al pueblo wayuu en este caso.
The narrative behind our sustainability it's the structure between all the community in the Wayuunaiki process. The narrative is work together with the community.
Porque si bien se construye la Wikipedia, la principal comunidad que debe reconocer y entender este proyecto debe ser el pueblo wayuu, y creo que esa es una forma también de generar sostenibilidad.
The Wayuu community is the most important aspect of the sustainability or sustainability process. It's not the language itself, it's the community.
Thank you. Lucy, what does sustainability look like for your community?
Okay, sustainability in my community, I see it from the perspective of where the generation today is able to gain insights from the past generation and also able to transfer it to the future generation. So sustainability in totality now means that even though this generation is no longer, may not be in existence in coming years, but the future generation are still going to keep on propagating and also advocating our languages and keep on speaking our language. So this is sustainability to me.
Merci. Ok.
Ok, j'ai compris la question.
Ok, merci.
Alors, nous, on pourrait mesurer la durabilité de ce projet sur notre communauté via la création de Wikipédia Baoulé. Voilà, parce que ce que nous faisons actuellement, nous considérons cela comme une phase pilote. Voilà, c'est une phase pilote et nous, l'objectif visé à travers ce projet-là, c'est la création de Wikipédia Baoulé pour que les natifs baoulés et ceux qui veulent apprendre baoulé puissent lire les articles Wikipédia en langue baoulé. Et donc, c'est ce que je peux dire en termes de durabilité sur notre communauté.
Merci. Oui.
De mon côté, en fait, j'ai essayé de créer un groupe linguistique autour de la langue. Donc, par rapport à la zone linguistique, où je trouve qu'il y a une concentration de locuteurs de cette langue, la cible, c'était beaucoup plus le chef-lieu de la province du Congo central, Matadi, où on en retrouve plusieurs qui parlent la langue, qui comprennent la langue. Et il fallait commencer par là. C'est là qu'on a touché en premier. On a mobilisé une communauté pour que le projet reste viable, pour que cette communauté puisse s'approprier ces projets. Et nous avons également initié des campagnes d'édition pour les impliquer davantage, pour les maintenir actifs. Et par là, nous avons, comme je l'ai dit, nous avons envisagé des collaborations avec les peuples d'autres pays partageant la même langue, donc parlant la même langue, cette langue commune. Et on a aussi pensé à nous associer, à nous allier aux différentes parties prenantes. Il y a les linguistes, il y a aussi ceux-là qui sont des professeurs, des enseignants qui enseignent la langue locale, et pour qu'on puisse s'approprier cette dynamique et faire en sorte que cette langue puisse continuer en fait d'exister, parce qu'elle était peu utilisée jusqu'à nos jours. Il fallait continuer à impliquer davantage la communauté pour que la langue continue d'exister, de s'améliorer, puisqu'il y a plusieurs variantes de la langue, ce qui la fragilise aussi. Il fallait associer ces différentes parties prenantes pour qu'un jour, que cette langue puisse signifier. C'est cette manière-là que nous avons eu à procéder. Merci.
Okay, merci bien. So, in 1 minute, I would like to hear your goals for the future. Lucy, what's your goal for your language project for the future?
My goal for my language in the future, and not just in the future, even in the present, to be able to have my language embedded in the ever-evolving digital space. Now, you talk about the AI. I look forward to my language being also incorporated in the AI evolution, and also my language having recognition on the digital space, not just where if I want to search for something, I will not be able to find my language in, say, on that particular website. So my goal for my language is to have it both on the digital space, both in the AI, both in the tech, and every other thing that has to do with the global village and the digital footprint that we are striving for and working towards. So that's my goal for my language.
Thank you. Leonardi, just in 1 sentence, what's your goal for your language project, your future goal?
Con nuestro trabajo esperamos que la Wikipedia pueda ser una herramienta en el que la comunidad se sienta representada y se haga visible la riqueza cultural de nuestro pueblo.
Our goal is to make our language a proud aspect of our lives, part of the Wayunaiki as a part of the Wayu community.
Y también esperamos que sea una herramienta para documentar y para que esté al servicio del sector educativo en este caso.
We hope that it will become a tool for the educational sector and for teaching this cultural heritage to them.
Thank you. Nixon, quels sont vos objectifs futurs pour votre projet linguistique?
En fait, de mon côté, nous avons pensé à intégrer, donc nous voulons en fait développer une sorte de radio communautaire autour des langues, autour d'un projet langue en scène, pour permettre à la communauté de s'exprimer en langue maternelle, de s'associer au centre de formation, et si possible former quelques communautés autour de la langue. Surtout, je parle beaucoup plus de la structure grammaticale, parce que c'est ça la base, et permettre à la communauté de maîtriser la langue, pas seulement pour traduire des articles, mais aussi pour commencer des zéros jusqu'à un article complet, et associer aussi les autorités compétentes, puisqu'il s'agit du patrimoine culturel du pays. Donc il faudrait que toutes les parties prenantes soient en mesure de s'impliquer pour que les projets puissent avancer. Merci.
Ok.
Ok, nous avec Wikitong Baoulé, l'objectif actuel, je dirais nos objectifs à court terme, c'est la création, la traduction de 50 articles par mois en langue baoulé. Et donc chaque mois, nous traduisons 50 articles Wikipédia en langue baoulé, et actuellement, nous sommes à plus de 300 articles créés ou traduits en baoulé via incubateur. Et comme autre objectif à court terme, c'est la création d'au moins 500 articles d'ici fin décembre 2025. Et parlant d'objectifs à long terme, comme je l'ai dit au départ, c'est la création de Wikipédia baoulé et aussi le recrutement de nouveaux participants, voilà, surtout les plus jeunes qui viendront vraiment nous accompagner dans ce projet-là, et enfin la transmission des compétences que nous avons acquises via ce projet. Parce que depuis que nous avons commencé à travailler, nous avons vu d'autres groupes linguistiques qui nous ont approchés pour savoir comment est-ce qu'on pourrait les aider à eux aussi travailler sur leur langue. Donc c'est un peu ça le dernier objectif.
Thank you. In summary, or to end this panel, I would like you to give a word of advice for someone who wants to start their own revitalization journey. Quel conseil donnerez-vous à quelqu'un qui se lance dans un parcours de revitalisation? Oui. Nixon. En Kikongo. Oui.
Ah, donc, il continue le même projet. Hein?
Oui.
Ah, oui. S'il veut le faire. J'ai pas de ma
C'est là-bas. So he's going to tell us in his mother tongue. He will give us a piece of advice to anyone who is starting a revitalization project. So he's going to tell us that in his mother tongue.
Je dois lire ça ou je dois parler à ma langue là? Ok. En fait, moi, ma langue maternelle, c'est le lingala. Mais celle que j'ai voulu revitaliser, c'est la langue parlée par mes parents et les Kikongo. Mais j'ai préféré lire cette citation en ma langue locale, lingala. Kosunga kokomisa lokota na mikanda ezali kaka te ko bikisa nzebi to pe bomengo ya ba nkoko na bino kasi ezali pe kopesa na ekitani ya lobi elembo ete bosomi na bango ezwaki ndambo ya limemia.
Merci. Ok, Aristide.
Ok, cette citation baouli. Kenga malilo flua klefwe kumo befleike seydou badian. Fakani sa. Like sile pafwe yele like nga o fasran kosamu belo. Ye Wikipédia oti like pafwe nga ekloa fakan nde eklesran kloamu nyon. Nyan ya fali kesile ngoyo e anan befwe ya mansan mu ngben.
Merci. Lucy.
N'ihi na enweghị asụsụ ka ibe ya, ya mere asụsụ ọbụla kwesịrị ka o nwee nchekwa. Nke a na-egosipụta na asụsụ ọbụla kwesịrị ka echekwa ya n'agbanyeghị ụkọ ha ma ọ dị obere ma ọ dị ntakịrị. So o kwesịrị ka echekwa asụsụ ọbụla na ịntanetị.
Hamaya hain wayu irua wayu nata ka kuat paya ka ho hut ka ten sok kai sanan tu out ka ka tu wamain waya kana waya wayu kana tu wanaikika musika sain wane washira musika sain tu wahtahan ka o tu sut sain ka tu putchka spura ayatin hatin wane pia tu wahtahan ka spura aratin hatin namai na te pichkari rua mas pena.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. If you have any question you would like to ask our panelists, please go ahead.
I have a question.
Okay.
Pour mon ami, pour Aristide. Comment est-ce que tu parles beaucoup sur l'engagement des enfants? Mais comment est-ce que tu fais? Parce que je suis professeur à la Colombie, mais pour moi c'est très difficile lorsqu'on va engager les enfants. Comment est-ce que tu fais pour l'engager sur la langue? S'il vous plaît, merci.
Ok, merci. Alors, je dirais que dans mon groupe d'utilisateurs Wikimedia Côte d'Ivoire, j'ai la chance d'être formateur et donc mon user group m'envoie vers des universités à l'intérieur du pays pour former des enseignants, des étudiants, des élèves sur les projets Wikimedia. Et donc, c'est grâce à ces formations voilà, organisé par mon user group, que j'arrive à rentrer en contact avec ces jeunes. Et d'ailleurs, ce projet sur lequel nous travaillons, Wikipédia Baoulé, il y a un jeune âgé sur ce projet-là et qui hier, vous l'avez vu tous, a été élu Newcomer Wikimedian of the Year. C'est Ndanri qui est ici, voilà, dans la salle, qui est assis là-bas juste derrière. Il fait partie de l'équipe de travail de Wikimedia Baoulé. Voilà, et ça fait qu'avec lui, il est vraiment très dynamique, il est vraiment très enthousiaste. Et son enthousiasme, puisque quand on travaille ensemble, son enthousiasme est en train de contaminer d'autres jeunes de notre communauté qui sont vraiment intéressés à nous rejoindre pour travailler. Donc, je pourrais dire que si vous travaillez avec des jeunes, c'est ces jeunes-là qui vont toucher, eux à leur tour, d'autres jeunes, voilà, à s'intéresser vraiment à ce projet. Merci. Okay.
More questions? Yes, please.
Good morning. My name is Gayoba from the Gambia. I just want the last question that you asked for them to speak in their mother tongue, to advise those who want to start writing about their languages, if they can speak in English or in French so that we'll be able to understand.
Okay, we actually had to project it. All right, can you maybe just briefly, one sentence of your advice again for him who wants to start language revitalization? Yes, please. Sorry?
Please, this question goes for you. I want to know whether, apart from Wikipedia as a tool to help revitalize your mother tongue or the indigenous language, have you used any other digital space to also help revitalize your mother tongue?
Thank you. So I volunteer as a translation manager for Global Voices, and for Igbo language. So for Global Voices is also like somehow like we had a session yesterday where we talked about digital language activism, and this was in partnership with Global Voices and Rising Voices. So you can also source and document your language because you have the translation tools embedded in the website. So Global Voices can also be your go-to website where you can use to document your indigenous language. Then you also talk about the Mozilla Common Voice. That one is also another tool to use in documenting your indigenous language.
Anyone else want to contribute? Just briefly, we have 4 minutes. Anyone else have any question? Questions, comments? Okay. So, in summary and in conclusion, I would like to say thank you very much to everyone who attended the session today. And remember, while working on your language revitalization project, just like Leonardo mentioned, community is very important. You cannot do it alone. And as you're also going out here today, remember that we cannot share knowledge in every part of the world or keep knowledge for the future if you do not include indigenous languages. And if you want to make our Wikipedias as many as possible in as many languages as possible, as many languages of the world as possible, you should know that you have to share knowledge in your own mother tongue as well as your indigenous language. So thank you very much, everyone. Muchas gracias. Okay. Merci beaucoup.
Okay. All right, thank you. So you guys can take a photo if you want, please. I don't know if we have the photographer around. So yeah, while you're doing that, the next session in this room will start by 2 p.m. So yeah, just to know. So in the next few minutes, this room is free. So next session start by 2 p.m. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. We do have to clear this room because we're going to be setting up for the keynote. So if you could find another spot, that would be great. Thank you so much.
We can hear each other?
Yes, now we hear you.
Okay, great. So I can go from here. That's fine? Okay, so we started covering, like Nessa mentioned, to tackle these emerging challenges for folks looking to share their knowledge. We started with this overall concept of what is a knowledge gap. And so we looked at starting from a place of all human knowledge. Here in this next graphic, it represents everything. So this is a familiar graphic in Thailand, and everything's filled in. And this is the idea of all knowledge that we know of as a society. Every page of every book, every detail about each bus stop in the world. And when we consider what is appropriate for Wikipedia, this next slide shows us that that information is just a fraction. And that makes sense, you know? Some topics are wholly inappropriate for Wikipedia. And other areas might have one or two deep knowledge bases that need to be explored and shared, while others consist of pretty broad-ranging but shallow, relevant coverage of knowledge. When we think of this line, these filled out lines of these buildings, it's a border of inclusion, these knowledge candidates on Wikipedia, that is always evolving. We have to understand that just as our human knowledge is changing, so is definitions about notability or significance when new topics and cultural moments occur. What knowledge is on Wikipedia is just, you can see just that colored in building on the bottom, and that difference is now highlighted in yellow. Those are the knowledge gaps that we hope to uncover strategies to tackle. And just like we can see some of those areas are filled in dark because some folks like to pursue almost completing one topic at a time, and others think there might be more impact in coverage taking a shallow but pretty holistic look on topics. And we'll talk about these different strategies and what might make sense as we prioritize tackling these knowledge gaps. One other aspect is we might have surplus information. Here it's not highlighted, but sometimes there's things that are, you know, beyond this yellow border that have snuck into Wikipedia. And what we found is we have a pretty good process for removing those. So Nessa and I have been focusing on these yellow areas and helping empowering teams and groups to tackle that space. When we consider this line again, we talk about what are the characteristics of Wikipedia's knowledge. The information on Wikipedia is first, well, like we mentioned, that line, it's dynamic. And so it evolves alongside of us. And, well, all the information on Wikipedia is true. It's factual. And it's not just factual, it's verifiably so. And so we thought about all the bus stops in the world, and they aren't real bus stops, and they aren't verifiably true. And so when we looked, we condensed all the policies and guidelines, and we came up with, well, there's something interesting about being collectively significant, these items, and that they're presented in an objective and neutral point of view. And beyond this criteria for the knowledge, it's also how Wikipedia expresses it. And it's a special digital format. And it's both meaningful to the readers, accessible to the humans that use the platform, and usable by machines. And so on the next slide, we have this all together. And we'll further expand on these ideas throughout a dip series of blogs, if you're interested there too. But from here, Nessa, would you take over, diving in?
Yes. I'm taking over. So,
And I'll be fast forward to the end. Thanks.
one bucket. Yes, good. No. We decided that, yes. All right. So we decided to put all of this information into 2 statements. Wikipedia presents knowledge that is dynamic, factual, verifiable, collectively significant, and neutral, which is packaged in a digital format that is both meaningful for humans and accessible to people and usable by machines. So this is the framework from which we are going to define knowledge gaps. So these are the features of knowledge that Wikipedia has, and from this framework, we will go ahead and define knowledge discrepancies on Wikipedia. I don't use the term knowledge gaps, but instead use the term knowledge discrepancies, and this is because we see gaps as holes in our knowledge, but we would like to see more knowledge problems, knowledge imbalances more as discrepancies, and we would classify them into 4 different categories: missing content, poorly structured content, excess content, and cataloging gaps. Missing content is obvious, right? So an article is missing, a section is missing, a sentence is missing from an article. It could be in any level, but it is missing from Wikipedia. So that is missing content. We also have poorly structured content. This is not very well researched, but we have that information on Wikipedia, but it's not given in a great way. It's not really meaningful to understand. It's sometimes outdated. It's sometimes disorganized. It does not have internal links. So all these problems will constitute poorly structured content, and we'll talk more about that. We also have excess content on Wikipedia. Some content that we already have on Wikipedia shouldn't really exist there. No notable content, vandalism, hate speech, all of these have no place on Wikipedia. So that's the excess content that we have to remove from Wikipedia. We also have cataloging gaps. So if we don't catalog an article properly, if we don't add categories, if we don't have structured data, if we don't link that to the corresponding Wikidata item, it's difficult for machines and even for humans to understand what's going on. So these cataloging gaps are also more important for machines to be able to, if with cataloging gaps, it's very hard for machines to understand what's going on Wikipedia. Going to each of them in detail, starting with missing content, the Wikimedia Foundation in 2021 proposed a framework for a taxonomy for classifying missing content. Not just missing content, but here we are interested only in missing content. And this is the part of the wheel that we are interested in, and they classified missing content into representation gaps and interaction gaps, and you can read more about it on the white paper that they have published in the year 2021. And this is well researched, so I'm not going to talk so much about it because there is a lot of literature out there. When it comes to poorly structured or excess content, we don't really have great research. Laila talked about some of the aspects that we could do in the last part of her presentation, but here we are going to present a framework for thinking about poorly structured content. We established earlier that Wikipedia has dynamic content, so any outdated content would constitute a knowledge gap. Wikipedia has factual content, so if the content is inaccurate, that's a knowledge gap. Wikipedia has verifiable content, so unverified content would constitute a knowledge gap. Neutral content is present on Wikipedia, so as soon as we become biased, that's also a knowledge gap. We have collectively significant information on Wikipedia, so anything that is unnotable, that's also a knowledge gap. We have everything in digital format, written in wiki guidelines. So unwikified content without links, without following Wikipedia style of style of writing, they also constitute a knowledge gap. We really strive for having meaningful content on Wikipedia, but if the content is so disorganized, it's not really useful for people. People cannot understand that well. So that would also be a knowledge gap. The content on Wikipedia, we strive to make it accessible. We try to reduce jargon. We try to reduce complexities so that it's accessible to everyone. And inaccessible content, for example, if we use only charts with red and green, it would not be accessible for people with red-green color blindness, for example. So that kind of content would also constitute a knowledge gap. And finally, our data is what we have on Wikipedia should also be usable by machines. So as soon as we become unfriendly to machines, we also have a knowledge gap there. All right. Now that we have established what kind of knowledge gaps are there and classified them into this framework, we start finding a lot of knowledge gaps, but now we need to find out a way to prioritize them. Some knowledge gaps are more important than the other. Some knowledge gaps need to be fixed urgently. Some knowledge gaps can take time. So we introduced two concepts to prioritize knowledge gaps. One is knowledge urgency and the other is knowledge relevance. Knowledge urgency is when it's quite important to fix that knowledge gap right away, such as in the case of 2024 United States election for the US president. You need all the information written very fast. So that's urgent knowledge gap to fix. On the other hand, we also have other relevant knowledge gaps. Just in articles like climate change, for example, it has persistent importance throughout regardless of the timeline. So that is, if you see a knowledge gap in terms of climate change, it's going to be a relevant knowledge gap, not exactly urgent now, but it's still relevant. So when we see our knowledge gaps through these two frameworks, we might be able to understand maybe which knowledge gap should be fixed first and which could wait. And we, on Wikipedia, we also have a tendency to not see knowledge gaps as such, but we see articles that need to be fixed. So when we put a maintenance template, for example, we elevate the article. And when we create lists of missing knowledge gaps, we often tend to create a list of articles that need working on, but probably the knowledge gap is separate from the importance of the article itself. I can illustrate that with an example. In the article about scleroderma, a very rare disease, maybe writing about female predominance, the female predominance of the disease is probably missing on that article. And that's an important knowledge gap. On the other hand, there is an article about stroke. And stroke is a very common disease and it's a very important article. But in that article, there might be a knowledge gap about trivia, about Martin Luther getting a stroke. And that knowledge gap, it's not as important as the other knowledge gap where we talk about female predominance. So we have to see knowledge gaps separate from the importance of the article itself. Right. From here, we'll go to part 3, where I introduce some tools that we have been using for mapping missing content. Listeria, if you know about it, has been a great tool for me to generate lists from Wikidata for missing articles. So Wikidata knows a lot of things. English Wikipedia probably doesn't have an article about most of these things. So we could go to Wikidata and then try and see what is missing in English Wikipedia, or Spanish Wikipedia, or Malayalam Wikipedia. And this list updates every 24 hours, so that's quite useful. So you get recent lists. WikiShootMe is a very nice tool that helps find Wikidata items lacking images. And then you can also see everything on a map, so you know which geography is underrepresented. Citation Hunt has been a great tool for highlighting unsourced statements in terms of unverified. If there are unverified lines, Citation Hunt would flag it, and then it's much easier for me to see that knowledge gap. Wikicompleter is another tool that suggests articles that are missing in one Wikipedia but have articles in many other Wikipedias. So you could get a list of articles in maybe medicine that is present in many other languages but not in your language. And navboxes are the classical tool that I often use for getting an overarching picture about the topics present under an article. And if you see when you construct a navbox and you put out all the topics in place, you can visualize which one is a red link in the navbox, and then you could go and then find that knowledge gap. And that's about missing content. I know that you all know many more tools. You are using many more workflows. We'll see that during the workshop part of the session. And now going to mapping poorly structured content. I think for me, the maintenance templates on the articles have been very useful. So we put maintenance templates when we see an issue in an article, and there is a category associated with that maintenance template, and as soon as you go to that category, you will be able to see, wow, these are all the articles that has advertisorial style content, and then you could work on them. And outdated content, articles needing cleanup, all of them have usually, the volunteers usually put maintenance templates, and then you can go and visualize that knowledge gap. And PetScan has been a very useful tool in pulling data from these categories of maintenance templates, as well as for finding articles that satisfy specific criteria. So if I could look for stub articles in women's health that are outdated, for example. So you can combine a lot of criteria and ask PET scan, and it would give you a list of articles that contain those knowledge gaps. And we have ORAS scores, which are machine learning based quality assessment of articles. So if you see that a very important topic is still a stub article or a start article, probably that's where you have to work on. Right. And excess content. This is not somewhere I work on a regular basis, but I know many people who have been working on excess content and trying to remove them. Copywire detector has been a great tool for identifying copyrighted content. ORAS again, mostly people with extended user rights, they use it for detecting low quality edits and see that, okay, this is vandalism. Then this is excess content that they are adding, we have to just remove it. And again, maintenance templates help here also for flagging copyright violations, for finding advertisement style articles, articles requiring cleanup and so forth. And these are tools within Wikipedia. There are also tools outside of Wikipedia that could probably help you in mapping knowledge gaps. And there are many data visualization tools. I don't do this myself, but I have very smart friends in Wikimedia who help me visualize all the data. Tableau Public is one of those tools, so you can download any kind of data, not just Wikipedia data, and visualize that data and see where the gaps exist. And another technique I use is to get keywords from external academic databases. The MESH database is a database for biology and medicine, so they have a lot of keywords. So you could map all these you could extract all these keywords, clean them up, and see if all these keywords have an article on Wikipedia. And in that way, you can map, you can find the red links. Right, these days, generative AI-based tools are also becoming very popular and common. There's a tool called Quicksilver, which kind of goes to the external literature and sees the names of scientists who are not yet represented on Wikipedia. So Quicksilver, you go in and it says that this is the list of scientists who have got these many citations, they are mentioned in the press, but not yet on Wikipedia. So you could just find that person online and create an article about them. And recently I have been using ChatGPT Deep Research, although it's not hallucination free, it hallucinates so much, but you ask structured questions to ChatGPT Deep Research and tell them, give a URL, and ask it to give you a report about the knowledge gaps in that article. It kind of gives you a decent report, but it's not hallucination free, and you should use it with caution. Then you have search engine analysis, like Google Trends. So if a new recent event is happening and you want to see what is the hot topic that has the most urgent knowledge gaps to fill, Google Trends may be able to help you. Now that we have finished with the tools, I go to some of the workflows that me and my colleagues are using. Wiki projects, if you're very interested in mapping knowledge gaps about a particular theme or a topic, I think Wiki projects is the place that you can go. And there is even a Wiki project called Missing Encyclopedic Articles on English Wikipedia. And if your language Wikipedia does not have that kind of a Wiki project, I encourage you to do some so that new editors can see where the knowledge gaps are and start bridging those knowledge gaps. And most language Wikipedias has a vital articles list with the most vital articles that every Wikipedia should have. And this kind of changes from time to time, but and if your language Wikipedia does not have good quality articles of topics included in the vital article list, maybe that's something you should work on. And the programs and events dashboard, it has been very helpful in tracking the changes over time. So you are tracking an article over time and seeing that, okay, this article has improved. Or you can track a person over time, somebody who joined your editathon. That person is filling all these knowledge gaps. You can track that very easily using this dashboard and many other dashboards that other volunteer developers have created. And I also use Wikidata. I use Sparkle Query to find out what Wikidata knows and what my Wikipedia does not know. So if you have, there are many smart Sparkle queries that are up on Wikidata, and you can adapt it to your language and see what kind of knowledge gap exists there also. And finally, you could also compare with external databases. For academics, for example, there is a very famous database called ORCID, and ORCID has a lot of information about who published which paper and what kind of citations it is getting and so forth. So if you have a database, then you could map it over Wikipedia and see if knowledge gaps exist from there. And there are cultural collections, like one example would be the sum of all paintings on Wikidata, where they aim to have all the paintings in the world represented on Wikidata. So you could use that database to compare with your language Wikipedia and see if there is an article or a mention about any paintings, which Wikidata knows, but your Wikipedia does not know. All right, that was quite fast, but we'll discuss more during the workshop. And now I hand over to Matthew, who will be introducing us about the workshop. Yes, over to you, Matthew. I hope it works this time, yes. Matthew, we don't hear you yet, sorry. I'll maybe put up the slide for people to read in the meantime. So we'll work in groups of 2 to 3, and you can maybe share articles you have recently read on Wikipedia or... Yes. I hear you, yes.
Okay, great. Yep, we'll run through a quick exercise of the stuff we've already covered so that we can have a working demonstration. And maybe it's groups of 2 or 3, maybe it's tables you're already at, but things you've read or worked on recently could help jog your memory and start thinking about classifying them into those groups we mentioned today, the missing content, the poorly structured content, and so on. We can reference some of the slides. One of the main points is prioritize, having a chance to discuss this urgency and relevance section. Also, exchange and share tools that might be useful to you, or reference some of the slides on what they might be. But I think a lot of the exciting part is being able to practice some of this negotiation that is tough to do online or out of sync. And so here, a lot of these conversations might evolve to be something of a would you rather. So on the next slide, we have some examples. We could correct biased language in a high traffic article, or create an article of an overlooked Nobel Prize winner. And so, well, it probably depends which article we're talking about. Or does it matter which Nobel Prize or where they're from? It's one thing to start talking about where our collective consensus line would be when we look to prioritize these things together. And we could do both, but sometimes we have to prioritize. Another example on the next slide is having hundreds of regional music articles that are unwikified, lacking categories or internal links, and they're basically impossible to find right now. Or there's a developing health crisis with missing new information that was just announced. Where do we kind of spend our time? There's a lot to consider. On the next slide, we look at some of these skills, and it's your own personal risk tolerance. Maybe the change makes a lot of sense, but we'd like to bring in kind of someone more local to the project to support making that change long term, because that's not really an area you feel comfortable with. Great, maybe someone else would feel comfortable. Personal values. Some folks want to work in certain areas, and for them it's going to be tough. Those areas are always going to be the most priority. But let's see if we can use these other skills, conflict resolution, communication, and shared empathy, to deeply hear each other. So we will need to remember that we're all volunteers too, and so a lot of our motivation is that sense of impact. In the next slide, we'll start looking at being able to access. We have the worksheet and questions. We have some of it printed out and distributed, and we can start working through what a real workshop would look like, prioritizing these examples. And remember, Nessa is there with you, and I'll be in the chat here if questions come up about any of that kind of structure. Thank you, Nessa.
Thank you, Matthew. Yes, now I have Ganesh, who will distribute a little leaflet with you. I would like you to work in groups of 2 to 3 and think about a knowledge gap that is important to you. It could be any knowledge gap, any language, a broad knowledge gap or a very minor knowledge gap, whatever it is that you care about. And then I want to think about that knowledge gap in a structured way. How do you approach this knowledge gap? How do you categorize this knowledge gap? What is the priority level right now? Are there any tools that you are already using to fix this knowledge gap? Or is there a tool that you wish was present to fix this knowledge gap? And again, it doesn't have to be an existing knowledge gap. You could also work on an imaginary knowledge gap if you do not want to think about one that's existing. So it's up to you. The floor is open, and I will be going around in the group and maybe sharing some perspectives. If people are interested in sharing their perspectives, I will go around and hand over the mic, and then we will be able to have a discussion, I suppose. Yeah. And those of you joining online, here's the QR code and the link to the Etherpad. In the Etherpad, we have the same questions as there is in the leaflet. So if you are working on that, you could copy all the questions, paste it somewhere else in the Etherpad and work on it. So write your name or write something that identifies your group, and then you could work on that. If you don't want to write your name, that's fine as well. we have 6 minutes until we finish. If there is a group or a person who wants to share anything, I will be very happy to hand over the microphone.
Thank you. We actually got in a very interesting conversation and a knowledge gap that I have been thinking about a lot because I write on Swedish Wikipedia. And an existing knowledge gap is articles related to Swedish speakers in Finland. Because there is a Swedish-speaking minority in Finland, Swedish is one of Finland's official languages, so they are an important cultural group. But articles about their culture and history are underrepresented in Swedish Wikipedia, even though they have as much right to the Swedish language as we Swedes. But a very good thing is that there is actually an ongoing project, a voluntary organization in Finland by Finland Swedes, created specifically to address this problem. I work at Wikimedia Sweden and I have supported them with some advice and training, so I'm very happy that this particular knowledge gap is being addressed. But there is there's always some discussion because obviously the most editors on Swedish Wikipedia come from Sweden, and there are some differences in the language, some different vocabulary, and there's some discussions in what type of Swedish should those articles be written in, and so on. So it's fascinating. Actually, the people who run that project was called Project Frederica in Finland. They have a software developer with them who has developed some sort of software specifically for searching for missing articles not only in Swedish Wikipedia, but also in English and German and other language editions. So they are doing it in a really advanced and systematic way, which I think might be an inspiration to other communities who would like to include knowledge from underrepresented communities.
Yeah, so can I just my general? My favorite article that I've written is a Namibian comedian that didn't exist on the English Wikipedia. A biography. Yes, yes. So definitely of particular interest Namibian people, and then we also identified Macedonian writers on works of Macedonia.
How did you find this knowledge gap?
So I've used PetScan in query service and through browsing. Yeah.
So we run, Wiki Loves Women runs She Said, and it's actually it's a very interesting project because it helps to naturally find the gaps between who's being covered as women, who's on Wikidata, what English, or other coverage exists on the Wikipedia versus what's also available on Wikiquote. So it's kind of a way of making the knowledge wider rather than longer, and so but it's also another way of kind of being able to identify wiki gaps, and we use Listeria in some cases, but otherwise it's also local teams creating lists of women that are important to those local contexts and to those local teams. So that's another way of doing it. So I've used Listeria before and queries. I've actually, to be honest, I've asked other people to do it because I'm really bad at it. But yeah, so we have, and I normally compare, so we'll have the Wikidata link, and then we'll also have, say, English, depending on the country, we'll have English or Shona or Ndebele, kind of, whether they're in those Wikipedias, and then whether there's a wiki quote in whichever language people want to work in. No. No, because I think it's up to the person who's doing the work, so who I find, I'm very arts oriented, so I would definitely go for an artist or something, whereas other people might, be more scientific. So I think that personal choice is about priority, yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes. We have 2 minutes, so if anyone would like to add a comment or, tell me something that you have been doing, you could raise your hand. Yes. Anyone? Did you find something interesting? Then you could. Yes.
Okay, so we discussed 2 points. So the first one is missing photos of rivers. And it is very important to us because we need to plan traveling during rainy season. And by just checking the type of river and size, you are able to know, are you going or do you need a bigger car or whatever? Yeah, so so this is missing content, the category. And I just said why we need it, and we need to use Wikishoot, me, to get those photos to the articles that don't have the photos.
Have you been using Wikishoot.me or?
No, I have seen it today, and I think it's amazing. I tried, yeah.
Just 1 minute left. Any closing comments from anyone? There? Yes, 1 minute.
Thank you. We made a discussion between the UK-based Wikimedian and Nepal-based Wikimedian. So we reached to some commonalities in both Wikipedias, but some priorities and the situation are different in English and other larger Wikipedia in comparison to Nepali Wikipedia and other Wikipedia in Nepal also. So the last 2 topics should be discussed in community level first to understand the priority and the situation. But in other things, we find some similarities. Yeah, thank you. Want to add some more?
Thank you very much for coming. Yes. You can keep your handouts with you if you want, but if you don't want it, please leave it on the table so that I can have it and see what you have written. Thank you.
Thank you, Neta. Thank you, Matthew. Yes, and our next session is organizers as key partners to support newcomers' growth in our movement. So please join us for that. We'll start soon.
much for coming to this session. Formally, this session is titled Organizers as Key Partners to Support Newcomer Growth in Our Movement. However, I realized that not everybody prefer the term organizers. So if you do organizing activities but prefer other identification, such as activists or just people who like to do events, that's fine. Please stay in the room. And if you identify as general Wikipedians, Wikimedians, humans, also please stay in the room. This session aimed to listen to your experience in bringing, engaging, or retaining new people or new editors. We are not concerned with success stories. We just want to hear your stories. It is a roundtable discussion. I see you sit in a literal round table. That's perfect. So please be mindful of each other. If you see somebody has not spoken yet, please allow them to speak. And as you know, not everybody is a native English speaker, including me. So if you can speak slower to your colleagues, that would be appreciated. My name is Anbar. I work as an analyst at the Wikimedia Foundation for the community organizing team. I joined the foundation early this February, and I attempted to edit this March. It was not successful, I can tell you later. And in this session, I'm with my colleague, Kristen, the Senior Product Manager for Growth Features, and Habib, our Product Ambassador. Next slide, please. So there are going to be two sections in this roundtable. One is reflect on current approaches. What are your experiences? It does not have to be a success stories. And the second part is brainstorm potential future strategies. Lack of details are okay, but I hope that we can discuss with hope and optimism. Next slide, please. There are three agendas today. We're going to start with the why we are having this discussion, and how are we using your input for our work. My colleague Christine will give you an overview of growth features. So if you don't know them, that's okay. This is a chance to learn. If you know about them but forget, it's a refresher for you. And the second one is we are going to do ice-breaking activity. Basically, we'd like to hear your experience as a newcomer, be it in the past or as of now. So start thinking what a part of your story you want to share. And the last part is on discussion and reflection. Are we clear so far in terms of the structure of the discussion? All good? Woo. Okay, next section, please. The why, and this is my title. It's so long, it's 6 words, and that's why I said I'm an analyst. Let's go to the next slide, please. I will begin by stating the obvious. Some of you who are organizers already know probably your superpowers. Organizers wear many hats, take different roles, and are very motivated group of people. They are activists, facilitators, promoters, etc. And some of you may be in the research session today and already know who are newcomers in our movement and general environment. As you can see here is newcomer continue to add diversity to the Wikimedia movement, and they are likely to be younger. I think that organizers have the skills and resources and can use a little more support to engage newcomers, be it from the editing perspective or organizing perspective. Next slide, please. Some of you see data today, so I'm going to bring words. I've been doing a literature review for the past 7 months in my tenure at the foundation, and as you can see here, not all reports use the same terms. Some use the term organizers, which is people who hold events, have partnerships, such as the Community Insight Report. Some use the word volunteers, or simply Wikipedians who organize events. And as you can see here, the way I am interpreting this is organizers are very motivated group. Next slide, please. This is a little bit summary of what kind of support exists for newcomers as of today. These literatures does not mean to be exhaustive, so if you have more, let me know. The first one is we have Newcomer homepage that Christine will explain today. And the second one, in the past, we also have Wikipedia education program, where the research have shown that peer support and joint activity play important role in the quality of the quality work of the new editors. There's also Wikipedia Tea House. Some of you who are more senior to the movement probably know this. And research showed that new editors who were invited to the Tea House actually stay. And last part, we have the Wikipedia Adventure, which you know it's a form of gamification. New editors found it's fun and engaging, but no impact to retention. The way I'm reading this literature is probably the combination between technology intervention and human interaction is our best bet to invite and make newcomers stay in the movement. Next slide, please. How are we using this insight from today's discussion? In the spirit of transparency, I would like to share with you that I will have an upcoming research project that's called Understanding Organizers' Impact to Newcomer Growth. These are the research questions. We are on a stage of research planning. We hope today's insight can help contextualize not only the literatures and data, but also inform the thinking of the framing of this research. This is my email. If you would like to keep in touch on how your insights are included, let me know. All right, without further ado, we are going to go to the next section, which is an explanation of growth feature by my colleague, Christine. Please give her an applause.
Thank you, everybody. Okay, so let's see, growth features. Once again, my name's Kirsten Stoller. I am the Senior Product Manager of the Growth Team, which is the team within the foundation that focuses on newcomers, anybody who has created an account on the wikis, especially Wikipedia, and how can we engage them, get them to make their first edits, and keep them retained. So the first really important thing to know is if you've been within the movement for a really long time, you don't receive our features. If you go to your preferences, you can see whether or not you have the growth features enabled. Anyone can enable them, but when we rolled them out, these are features that are meant for new editors getting started, so they're not default for experienced editors. So you can go to your preferences if you want and check them out if you don't already have them. And I'm going to quickly go over some of the basics of the growth team features. So kind of the big one is we've created like a central homepage, which is like a dashboard of ways to get involved in the movement and also ways to get some like positive reinforcement and understand like the impact of your contributions. So the Newcomer homepage has a call to action to add your email and confirm your email if you haven't already, since we know that that helps keep people more involved in the movement. It has suggested edits, easy ways for newcomers to get started. It has the impact module, which you can see here. We show like views on the articles you've edited, a streak count, and other fun data to kind of like keep new editors involved and excited about contributing. There's also mentorship. I'll talk a little bit more about that in the future. There's a help module. So one of the things that newcomers struggle with is even finding help documentation on how to get started. So the help module helps with that as well. And there's a new module called the Community Updates module, and I'll go into these in a little bit more detail. So mentorship is a feature that is available on all Wikipedias, but is not enabled on all Wikipedias because it requires experienced editors to actually sign up for mentorship and then turn on mentorship within community configuration. So it's a thing to check out if you are on a wiki that doesn't have mentorship set up. That's like an action that you could take after this to help support newcomers on the wikis. You get the system's great. It automatically assigns new account holders to an experienced editor. It helps make it really easy for new account holders to ask questions. They don't need to know about like talk page etiquette yet. There's a way for them to post on somebody's talk page without like fully understanding talk pages. I will go on to suggested edits, also known as newcomer tasks. That's how they are tagged within recent changes in your watch list. Essentially, they're ways to help new editors get started with small steps. We know based on the welcome survey that there are a lot of accounts created from people who want to like create an article first thing. And we know that that is like one of the harder things that you can do when you're getting started on a wiki. And so suggested edits are a way to try and encourage more newcomers to start with like smaller steps that they can probably be more successful at than, you know, trying to write that article that, you know, might have a conflict of interest or, you know, they don't know all the wiki norms yet. So, and then community updates. This is a pretty new module that isn't in use at many wikis right now, but it is available at all wikis that have growth features. Basically, via the special community configuration page. Any wiki admin can set up this module. It displays on the homepage. You can advertise specific events or especially things that are geared towards newcomers. So if you have trainings for newcomers, this is a great place to advertise the event. It's generally, you know, like not in as high competition as, you know, a general banner. So it's a great way to share newcomer resources as well. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is that like all of growth features are community configurable. There's ways to customize them to make them work better for your wiki. So you can customize how suggested edits work, which help pages are surfaced to newcomers. You can customize the community updates module and everything else we've talked about as well. So I would encourage you all to check that out, especially if you're an admin at your local wiki. Know about community configuration. It's a tool to help make growth features work better for newcomers on your wiki. And then I think that is the end of my part.
All right, we have 25 minutes left, so we have to be a little bit of fast and furious vibe around here. Let's go to the next slide. This is my experience as a newcomer. I tried to edit a Bahasa Indonesia article about a tribe that my mom belongs in. It's a Mori tribe from Central Sulawesi, Indonesia. I thought because the article said this article needs development, I'm like, that's my moment. I add a sentence about how the language has been recognized by the government as one of the endangered language. And this is what I got. I got automated filter. And there is like, if you see, it's too small. There is a $1 sign there. I can't, like, you know, it's as a newcomer, it feels daunting to edit. And I really want help from organizers who are really experienced in this. Help me navigate through the editing. I feel like other newcomers feel the same. I do use growth features, by the way, and I quite like it. That's my bias. Next slide, please. All right, let's take 4 minutes. If anybody want to share their previous experience as a newcomer, very short.
I think I can share this. One thing that happened is a lot to me when I not only try to edit but try to teach other people how to edit was the IP block I don't know if someone experienced this, but I didn't understand what happened. First, my IP was blocked, and then other IPs in the same room was blocked, and then nobody can create an IP, an account. So first I freak out, and then what happened is that I seek for the support of one of the members of my team that has an extended rights in Peru. So that was like a bad but a good experience, because I was frustrated, but also I learned that there's people in the community that are willing to share and help. So it was like a bittersweet experience.
Thank you, Hesed. Hesed is from Wikimania Peru.
Wikimania Peru, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Julie from Kenya. I had, my first experience was that I was trying to edit articles that have tables, that I was supposed to insert a table. So I have looked for that feature, but I've not been able to get it. So I still have the information, but I'm unable to insert the tables. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Carol from Wikimedia Kenya. My first experience, I remember it was One Lib, One Ref campaign, and so many of my edits were deleted. So my first welcome was a lot of deletion. Then I decided to pause and get to understand why are my small edits being deleted. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. I saw your hand fan, and
I was actually editing on a page where Wikimedians talk to each other. I still don't know how those pages are called, but yeah. And I was actually, people actually assumed I'm a bot because of the name of my username. And they wrote about me like I'm a very nasty bot. So that was...
Oh, so sorry. Yeah. Anybody from the left side? Oh, yeah, Bukola.
Okay, so my first experience when I was a newbie was that I did a whole lot of edits that were mirrored. So I don't know, I keep citing Wikipedia in Wikipedia article. So I think now that I'm experienced, when I think about it, sometimes I just laugh. I'll be like, wow, why did I even do this?
Thank you. Anybody from the left side want to share more? Okay. Thank you, Christine, for the mic popcorn. Okay. All right, now let's do discussion and reflection. We have 20 minutes left, so I'm going to be creative a little bit. As I said, we have two parts, which is reflective question, reflecting on your experience in engaging new people. And then we also want to explore some of the best practices and forward-looking question as well. There are sticky notes on your table and pens and emoji sticker. So the purpose of the emoji sticker is if you don't feel like writing and you see somebody else's opinion on the board and you agree with it, put emoji on it. So it's the easy way to react and participate in the discussion. I'm gonna do arbitrary division. On my right side, you are going to be the second group. On my left side, the whole left, it's going to be the first group. So the first question for group one on the left, in your view, what does newcomer growth mean or look like in your context or region? We realize that not everybody has the same definition or sense, so we would like to know the diversity of your perspective. For group two, we'd like to know, based on your current work, whatever you do as organizers, Wikipedians, humans, what do you do to support newcomers in terms of helping them to start to edit? How do you see the tools that are available today helping newcomers? For instance, if you use CapEx, capacity exchange, for instance, or you use growth features, up to you. We'd like to know tools that are being used on the ground by people who interact with newcomers. And the second one is just an awareness test. If you're familiar with growth features, and if you do, how do you use them? Okay, that's the first part. I'm gonna go to the second part really quick because the question is actually already on the paper. The second part is for group 1. Share with us your best tactics that are most effective. It doesn't have to have a high numerical metric, but if you feel like that's the best tactics, share it. And for group 2, what we need to change or rethink about our approach in engaging newcomers. With that, I'm gonna let you write for about like 3 to 5 minutes. You are welcome to come to the stage because the questions are written in this pink poster paper. Yes, Isla.
Can I have just a clarifying? So for us oldies who don't know about the newcomer kind of dashboard, is that available? If somebody registers on Commons, would that be available via Commons or via that registration?
Good question. Growth features are right now mainly Wikipedia focused. However, a lot of them have been designed to be wiki agnostic. So there has been discussion about bringing them to other wikis so that there could be a central homepage on other wikis as well. There's a discussion about Wikidata and
because all of our Wiki Loves contests go via Commons, and there's a relatively high kind of retention, but it's still, which is getting lower, but it's still, or which is a success that it's getting lower. The percentage of newbies is getting lower, so that's a success. But if there was an easy way for us to communicate back to them, or that they then got onboarded, and that's the trick we have. That's the problem we have.
Okay, we should talk more.
Thank you, Kristen. All right, please free to come to the stage. These are the group 1 area, and there are questions on the pink poster to remind you. And then these are the second group area, so you can write on a post-it and stick it. Sorry. Oh, pen? You wanna? Yeah. Come. Oh, we also have on the group 2, on the growth features, if you want to give like a star to each feature, which one do you like, which one you are curious about, feel free to do it. So for question number 1, I'm going to read one of the answer. Organize diverse events to attract new editors, create central contact like newsletter to retain all newcomers. For this example is for, I don't know what the abbreviation of this, but WIR at Auckland Museum. For answer, one of the answer on group 2, encouraging participation such as social media outreach, maps with places to shoot. I assume this is for Wiki Commons. And we don't just want established Wikimedians to participate. Thank you for the inclusivity spirit in this answer. All right, we have 12 minutes left. So if you are still in this reflective question, would you mind spending the next 1 minute to stick your answers in the board? This is group 1. I'm going to read one answer for the group 1 question in Friends. Expand toward knowledge gap, deeper academic knowledge and institution. Africa. Thank you for, again, inclusivity spirit that you all bring to the space. All right, we have 10 minutes left. I'm sorry. I'm going to skip that one. And let's move on to best practices and forward-looking question. Again, for group 2, I'm sorry, your poster is on the wall because we are lack of flip chart. But for group 2, in your view, what do we need to change or rethink about what we do today so that more newcomers can become more productive long-term editors? And if you prefer newcomers to be a long-term member in the movement in general, if that's more comfortable to you to answer, that's fine by us as well. And for group 1, based on your experiences, be it as organizer, as comedian, what tactics are most effective in helping newcomers come back edit after activities such as event end, like mentorship program, recurring Zoom session, etc., etc. Come. If you still have sticky notes from the previous one, it's okay. Just come here and stick it. I can't help you. Okay, so I can read one of the answer to group 1. What are some of the tactics? One is create a list for newbies on what not to do. Very creative. I like that. We have around 2 minutes to write our answer and stick it on sticky notes. So if you can start, come forward, share your thoughts via the sticky notes, I'd appreciate it. I saw someone write in the native language. So if you want to do that, like in Bahasa Indonesia, Bahasa Melayu, Spanish, etc., go for it. I can find a way to translate it later. On group 1, no, that's one of the answer for group 2, I think, is encourage gamification, be more open to technologies so that we can engage newcomers better. We have around 45 seconds for folks to stick the answer to this question. This is group 1, and that's group 2 over there. All right, 40 seconds. I see the group in the back is very deep in discussion. By the way, while we wait, Habib, do you have a question for the participants?
Hi, I'm just asking who has already used or still using the growth features?
Show hands.
Okay. Using the growth feature in the Wiki project, and
who have used the growth features already?
yeah, I'm asking who is already using the growth features. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And for the other who are not using, are you aware of these features?
Some of them
who don't know anything about these features till now? Okay, okay, great, thank you.
So that's your opportunity, Habib, as a product ambassador, to go out. All right, 30 seconds, folks. I know, probably you notice I don't know how to count, because there's like 45 seconds, 30 seconds. Come on in, stick your answers.
Just a small technical thing. When you're talking to the mic, please do it like horizontally, okay? It picks up a lot better. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, in the last 2 minutes and 50 seconds, I'm gonna start group sharing. So anybody want to reflect on the things that you write individually or the things that you discuss in the group? I saw a gentleman.
So my name is Justice from Wikimania Ghana User Group. I am an organizer. One of the things I try to do a lot of the time is always try to set up your participants before the day of the event. I learned very early on that IP blocks became a very rampant thing in my country. So once I'm able to set them up, even though on the day there will still be IP blocks, but I'm able to manage that quickly than when you are now setting up new accounts and then trying to get them to register on the day of the event. So always try to get them to sign up to a Google form or any kind of sheet, and then try to set them up on the Outreach dashboard. It's always one of the best tools you can use to circumvent issues with IP block, because you will face IP blocks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I also want to have a special question to folks who work with oral language or oral knowledge. Any special communication or encouragement that you use to encourage people to be involved in your event?
So for us at Wikimania Peru, that we work with oral languages and with oral communities language. Is right? Okay. Well, for us in Wikimania Peru, that we work with oral languages, we have to. We realized that we have to work on the feelings. We have a say in Spanish that is, tienes que trabajar el sentimiento a la gente. So we move people from their interests, from their activist interests, or their own struggles, and show the platform, in this case Wikimedia Commons, as an ally. In the case of sound projects, we present Wikimedia Commons as a space of living memory.
Thank you. Anyone else working on oral language or indigenous tradition or minorities or peculiar regions who want to share your best practices? Or generally anybody? In the last 13 seconds that I'm get this gesture from. Oh.
For minority communities, I tell them that if they contribute, they can be understood better, and their culture can be learned by outsiders coming within their community. So the outsiders are not threat anymore, but they become allies.
Thank you. I have 20. Time is up.
Yes.
Okay, that is sad. Anybody, last word? Burning word, yeah. Go ahead.
I just think with newcomers, I organize a lot of events and do a lot of outreach work, and I think something that a lot of people forget is making sure that you, especially when wanting to make diverse content and diversify editor base, is making sure that editors that are new know how important their contributions are and how important they are as individuals to the movement, because I think you can get caught up in the technical editing thing, but the thing that drives editors to stay is understanding how important their position is.
Thank you so much. And your name?
I'm Angeli from New Zealand.
Thank you. All right, I should end. Thank you so much for your sharing and cooperation today. Again, if you're interested on knowing how your insights are being used in the upcoming research, email me and I'll contact you. Thank you so much. Please give applause to ourselves.
Thank you for coming. There is nothing planned for this room. There are some meetups and other activities going on. Check out the program and see you tomorrow.
Okay. So for those, we have like a small meetup for the Commons photographer user group. And if you're a photographer, you want to be part, so you can as well just stay back. Just a small meetup. For the Commons photographer user group, it's a user group that is focused on Wikimedia Commons, and our photographers can also be part to make contribution. So it's just a few, I think it's just about 40 minutes, and we're out. So I just want to be sure if you're here for it, just wait, if not.